How are you doing, Asqua?
I'm good. Nice to have you here, Michael. Thank you so much for doing this.
No problem. I really enjoyed this. This, I guess it's a short, but what I loved about it was that it's connecting to your roots and the American way of life. So, what was it that what was that inspired this particular story? Yeah.
Yeah, there's definitely a semi-autobiographical inspiration to this. I immigrated here when I was around 22, and I immigrated alone without my family, and I didn't have a community at first. And because Eid, whenever Eid fell, I couldn't take the time off to go home back to celebrate with my family. I just felt so alone during a festival that was so special to me growing up, and nobody around me even knew about it. So I wanted to tell a story that kind of educated everybody about Eid, because I wanted to make it. There's 1.8 billion Muslims around the world. It's crazy that we don't even have this as in mainstream media. If anything, the stuff that's talked about Muslim Islam or South Asian culture are like the negative stereotypes instead. So I just wanted to tell a story that cracked that ceiling that was created for us by the Western gaze and Western media.
And that's a great segue because there are many Muslim stories, but let alone like Pakistani stories in the mainstream media, but not many understand or know the traditional, the traditions like Ramadan or Eid al-Fitr. And what kind of message do you hope to convey to the people that are watching this movie?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing I want people to take away is just be open to exploring and understanding other cultures and religions. Like question your own biases about other cultures and religions. I think that's one of the classes that we did as part of the Launchpad program was this anti-racism and unconscious bias class, which even as a minority, we have biases inherited to us by our parents, grandparents, and culture and media that we have to constantly question and be in front of. So I really hope that the people watching this film realize, like, oh, there are like Muslims have the same holidays that they find very special to be like I do. Like that's the human in us. Like we have that universality, that we all have that human side to us. And I really hope people start to just get curious about other culture and religion and not just take media's idea of what that is at face value.
Yeah. So Zara has a bit of shame towards her identity as a Pakistani Muslim, to not even tell her dance troupe that she couldn't perform with them because of Ramadan and not wanting to celebrate Eid with her family versus Marina, who wanted to be known and celebrated. Because the short is short, how did you find the time to balance with those two sisters, those two different conflicts, and ensuring that both identities and points of view are represented in the film?
That was the biggest challenge for sure, because of the time limit that we have to show two point of views. So one of the things we realized is that from the get-go, this is Amina's story, and that was an important distinction to make because I had like scattered between the two of them, and that was diluting the focus of the story and not making it as powerful. So we knew we needed to see some of Zainab's world, but whenever Zainab is introduced, it's part of Amina's world. Amina's somewhat the POV there, or Amina's present there in that scene somehow. So we never necessarily see Zainab alone. If whenever we do, we have Amina enter a moment after. And that just making those distinctions made the scene so much more tighter. So we could just combine two scenes and make them into one, that Amina could be entering into Zainab's world and becoming obstacle for her. Whereas Zainab was becoming Amina's obstacle in a way. And I think just figuring out like what our focus of the story was, and then translating every scene through that, every dialogue, every decision, every visual through that focus of what that theme was, is helped us make a more tighter script, and we were able to tell a lot in 20 minutes, which we wouldn't have otherwise. When I first started writing, this is a really longer story.
Well, hopefully we can see this longer story because it would be great to expand upon some of those things. But that's it. Thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate you answering all these questions.
Thank you so much.